Hi everyone and welcome to the Pearly Cute channel. I've mentioned in previous videos how much Lolita has changed since I started wearing the fashion, and I thought it would be nice to give a glimpse into the world of early 2010s Lolita. There's so much that I'm nostalgic for, good and bad, and I'm hoping that this will be a great insight for newer Lolitas whilst also providing nostalgia for older Lolitas. Super Karli64 was a YouTuber who would parody others in the Lolita and kawaii community, and I was first introduced to her by her Cupcakes with Lashy video, which was a parody on Venus Angelic's cupcake cooking video when she was at the height of her absolute cringiest. Karli then went on to parody other YouTubers, specifically Lolita YouTubers. Most notably, she parodied Pixie Lox's Lace video, and if you don't know what Lace is, that is another story for another time. She also parodied a documentary trailer by a girl called Kate, who was going by the alias Girly Hoot at the time. These videos that I've mentioned before were iconic moments in the Lolita community, and she always managed to get the humour spot on, and I, like many others, would always be so excited when a new video of hers came out. Along the same lines of parody channels, there was Nico Pocky, who is a much lesser known YouTuber. She only made a handful of videos, but she made satirical videos parodying eater behaviour. She made videos about buying replicas and creating dresses out of bin liners. Her videos were an absolute great laugh, and I really do recommend checking them out. When talking about nostalgia, you can't not talk about Princess Peachy. She was such an iconic part of the Lolita community. She actually introduced me to Lolita in a way that it had never been introduced to me before. Peachy really opened me up to a deeper world of Lolita, and this is what actually prompted me to really get into the fashion. Without Peachy, I would have never started wearing Lolita. She still uploads videos, but they've had a shift in focus as Peachy herself doesn't actually wear Lolita that often anymore. Currently, I know she uploads a lot of videos about Japan because she's been to Japan twice, so she uploads her vlogs from Japan and videos relating to her bunnies because she absolutely loves her bunnies and they're very adorable, but not a lot to do with Lolita. But whenever I'm feeling a little bit down, I do like to go and watch her old videos and escape into the world of Peachy a little bit. Peachy was so unique at the time, not so much because she did anything particularly different, but she was herself. Many kawaii and harajuku fashion YouTubers at the time would often make their voices higher pitched and talk softer so as to come across as kawaii. And Peachy wasn't any different. Peachy talked with a soft, high, cute voice. But it never felt forced or faked with Peachy. It really did feel like it was her. And honestly, watching someone being so genuine was such a pleasure to watch. So I know Misako's not exactly nostalgic, and Misako is still such a big part of the Lolita community nowadays, but for a brief second, Misako actually had a band. They were called Lolitina, and they came out with their one and only song, Maepatsu Himeka, which is the Japanese term for the type of bangs that many Lolitas had at the time, and still have to this day, the Princess Cut. The song was something I listened to on repeat for ages and ages after it came out, even though they auto-tuned her voice to sound like a robot. I still absolutely adore this song to this day. And please, Spotify CEO, if you are listening, please tell Misako to put this song on Spotify. Misako, put this song on Spotify, please. It needs to be on Spotify, I miss it. Misako isn't just nostalgic to me because of her music, but also because of her rampant rule making. Misako made an absolutely famous comment about knees in Lolita. This was actually before I got into the community, so this isn't so nostalgic for me, but it was a rule that was heavily enforced when I got into the fashion, so in a way that kind of makes it a little bit nostalgic for me because it just isn't enforced so much anymore. For a few years after this, that rule was heavily enforced. I remember when I got into the fashion, knees were an absolute no-no, even though I am I'm 5'7", I'm not extremely tall, but I am tall for Lolita and my knees do show, and I remember that being an absolute problem. and I tried my hardest to find longer dresses. I actually sold one of my dresses because it was too short, and now I really regret doing that because I actually really like that dress. Bodyline Soft Cream, I love you. So knees were now no longer allowed in Lolita. You either covered them or you chopped them off. But her actual comment was in regards to the gap in between your skirt and socks, which is considered a little bit sexy in Japan and therefore should be avoided in Lolita, but that's just not the case at all in the West. It's not really seen like that at all here. So you can have a gap in between your socks and your skirts. This is not a rule of Lolita. However, this also wouldn't be the only time that Misako kind of lorded over Lolitas. She went on to collaborate with the YouTube channel Kawaii and set out some amazingly humorous rules for Lolitas. And through this collaboration, the popular meme, Most Embarrassing Behaviour, was created. Now, staying on the topic of kawaii patin and music, one of my favourite things to come out of the Lolita scene in Japan was Meltia. I feel like we've really forgotten about Meltia. They weren't that long ago. They were around 2015, 2016. So if you don't know who Meltia was, they were a Lolita idol group. All the members had cream cookie collection, and they all styled it differently in their own way. And then later on they got matching dresses that were specifically made for their group, with corresponding ribbons to their colours, to their idol colours. And honestly, they were so cute. I remember thinking, when I go to Japan, I want to meet them. I want to go to one of their gigs and I want to meet this group. They seem so, so lovely. They were such a massive hit among Western Lolitas at the time. They also collaborated with kawaii patin and made some absolutely hilarious content, which I recommend you check out. It was actually this content that led to Kati, one of the members of the group, becoming mine and many others' favourite member because of her amazing humour. She was a lot funnier than any of the others. And I have a place in my heart for Kati. I miss her a lot. However, Meltia was just not meant to be. The group split up quite soon after it was created. A lot of the girls graduated out of it. And I think in the end there were only 3 members left, and they decided to split up, much to the community's dismay. And this kind of led them to become quite forgotten. But I would recommend checking out their music. They did do a few gigs so you can see their lives. They were very, very cute. So these are the kinds of things that I'm quite nostalgic for. A lot of my experiences to do with Lolita when I first got into it were online. A lot of it was on YouTube, and I didn't really go on blogs and things like that. So I would love to hear what you're all nostalgic for. I'd also like to hear what you think we will be nostalgic about in 5-10 years time. What from now we will be nostalgic about, because I'm struggling to think of anything. I feel like Ruffle Chat will still be around and things like that, so I honestly wonder what we will find nostalgic about 2019, 2020. So I'd love to hear what you think will be nostalgic to us about now, if you get what I mean. Also, I've compiled a playlist of videos from our history, from kind of the history of Lolita in a way, that I think is worth a watch. So if you want to watch it, it's called EGL History, and I will link it in the description below. I hope that during this time of lockdown it gives you something to do, and I hope you enjoy that. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and as always, thank you for liking, commenting and subscribing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! Mwah!